to you about common sense and why it's your greatest adversary. So there really are three kind of big ways that common sense leads us astray. And the first is that we think if we are going to change people's behavior, they just need education. If we just give them some information, then they'll change their behavior. What's missing in this equation is that people don't know. And if we just fill in the gaps, then we can get them to do what we want. So let's think about one thing that people are talking about a lot right now, which is energy conservation. April opened today by telling you that buildings are responsible for 40% of our energy consumption, 40% of our greenhouse gas emissions. So if we want to make an impact on climate change, we need to think about buildings. So some social scientists were thinking, how do we get homeowners to reduce their energy consumption? And they sent auditors out to look at people's homes. And one of the things they were looking for and reporting back on and giving people information about is these little gaps around your doors and windows. If you live in an old house, like the house I grew up in, you might have these little cracks. And they're letting in cold air, and that's making you have to turn your furnace up. So if we just tell people how many cracks there are, how many windows need help, people will weather strip, right? So if you give people information, 20% of people will weather strip. But really, we're going to spend money and send people to homes and investigate, and we're only getting 1 out of 5 people to change their behavior. We can do better than that. We have to know that how you present information makes a difference. And one of the big things that makes a difference is making information tangible. If you take all of those little cracks around all of those doors and windows, and you say, how big is that? The gap in your house is as big as a basketball. People then magically now understand how important it is to fill them. When they just think they have 16 windows and cracks, they don't see it as important. But when you make it more tangible and say, you have a hole in your house the size of a basketball, people say, oh, maybe weather stripping those doors would really make a difference. So making information tangible makes a difference. The folks in this study did more than just make information tangible. They also personalized information to those homeowners, and they interacted with them. Putting up posters that people might or might not see is never as effective as talking to other people. Social interaction is one of the most important tools that we can use for making change. So there are other things, though, that help us when education fails us, when just giving out information is enough. Oh, sorry, I skipped that back up there. So when you give people all 3 of these things, 60% of them weather stripped. That's a 3-fold increase in how big the change is. So how you present the information triples the effectiveness of your effort, and knowing that makes a difference. So, but there are other things. It's not other